Where do you think, Vicki, this pressure is coming from? Is it coming from parents? Is it coming from teachers? Is it coming from college admissions? People, is it coming from the students themselves? Is it coming from just being in a highly charged competitive environment?
Well, I think that it's coming from being in a pressure cooker culture, for starters, and I think that the pressures are coming from a lot of places. Absolutely, we as parents have contributed to this huge issue. College admissions drives this. I think our media drives this in terms of the fear that our country is falling behind.
Oh, I see,
and then you've got rankings of all of our schools and the sense that you have to find the best school, right? It's really about a fit, and it's really about what does your child do at that school, whether we're talking about high school or college. And so I think there are a lot of forces coming together. And then there's the policies, right? And you can go back to 1983 and A Nation at Risk.
No Child Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind, and now Race to the Top.
Where standardized tests are the indicator of how students are progressing and are linked to federal funding for that particular school district or state.
Well, right, and the idea that we're competitively allocating resources, I think is a very bad idea. And if you look around the world, there isn't another country that is approaching education in this way.
Well, this brings me to my next question. So I get this DVD, and I'm thinking, okay, I've spent so much time talking about the fact that our kids are 31st in the world in terms of our math and science skills among developed nations, that we're falling so far behind. We're not globally competitive. And, you know, this is what you hear time and time again.
Right.
So, and then your documentary focuses on how we're putting too much pressure on kids. They're doing too much homework. Can both things be true? Because I was trying to kind of integrate these two notions, and I was having a hard time doing that.
Right, so I think there are a few things going on. First of all, with respect to the test scores, our test scores have never been good. If you go back all the way to the 60s, our test scores have never been good as a country, and yet we've led the world in innovation and creativity. At a recent screening, Deborah Stipek, who's in the film, had seen the film for the first time and spoke on a panel and said she just came back from China, where they have very high test scores, and the educators
Shanghai
there,
in particular.
exactly, and she said the educators there are looking at what we used to do here because they see those high test scores and that very narrow way of training young people isn't leading to the talents that they need. It's not leading to the innovation, the creative thinking, the problem solving, the ability to work collaboratively. And I think that, so we also have to look at the fact that many kids in this country, we're in a much more diverse country than a lot of the countries we're compared to, and many of our communities aren't given the same resources. We have a number of students who are English as a second language, and so I think there are a lot of different factors. One book that comes to mind is Catching Up or Leading the Way, and it's Young Zhao's book. It's the very same thing that Deborah Stipek says. At the very time, his thesis essentially is at the very time we're looking to go in the direction of more testing, our Asian counterparts are looking at what we used to do here, focusing on the whole child and the social and emotional learning and all of the skills that are going to carry their kids, you know, into the future.